r/askreddit by Reddify. What movie was loved by the audience, but hated by critics? The Brendan Fraser Mummy series, only the first 2 movies though. Treasure Planet. That movie was awesome. *STARGATE* wasn't exactly loved by critics when it was released, and even made Roger Rabbit's most hated films list. But it's still a pretty well-liked movie and managed to spawn a whole TV spin-off franchise. Spaceballs. Also, most Mel Brooks films. Step Brothers is 55% on Rotten Tomatoes, but everybody I know thinks that movie is hilarious. Fucking Catalina wine mixer. Titan AE. Heard that The Fifth Element wasn't liked by critics when it came out. It's a fucking great movie. National Treasure Iron Second. I don't know if they were universally loved, but they did get shit on by critics, 45% and 35% in RT, and they are definitely among my favorite guilty pleasure movies. Starship Troopers. More and more people are now getting around to it now as a satire. Brilliant fucking movie. One of my favorites. Tommy Boy. Constantine is at 46% on Rotten Tomatoes and 72% audience rating. I loved that movie both for the visuals and for the acting. Totally underrated. I don't know why more people don't appreciate it. Hook was hated by critics. They all thought it was a dumb movie and idea, but we all know it is an amazing film. Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. At the time of its release, it was heavily criticized in reviews and was widely regarded as a bad movie. This perspective has of course changed by now, considering the movie is considered one of the top of all time now. But it wasn't always that way. A lot of people sure like those terrible Transformers movies. Hot Rod. 39% on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, I guess it kind of flopped. But those who watched it *LOVED** it. Excellent watch if you're interested. Edit. My first gilding. What can I say? The critics really got this one wrong. The Thing got savaged by critics. Hands down one of the most effective horror movies though. Still the best practical effects in the genre too. Imo. Death to Smoochie. I was honestly surprised at how much this movie was absolutely trashed by critics, but has so many hilarious and depraved moments, including a totally off the rails performance by the great Robin Williams. Rest in peace. Close bracket. Joe Dirt. Johnny English. Great comedy gold, and all the movies have 30-40% on Rotten Tomatoes. UHF. She's the man. It is actually pretty funny. Grandma's Boy. Zoolander. 50 First Dates. Road to El Dorado. Everyone I know who has seen it thinks it's a cute and fun movie, but critics panned it. Apparently, both Siskel and Ebert named Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid as among their picks for 10 worst movies of all time, even though it was a monster hit in its day. Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium. It is technically a kids movie, but they wouldn't get the overarching themes and such. And it is such a sweet, nice, sad movie. Just go watch it. My family are the people that I know that have heard of it, but just go watch it. It is amazing. One of my favorite movies. Edit. The 12 people responding to this is more than I thought knew about the movie. It makes me feel great to see that there are fellow fans out there. Waterworld got absolutely panned by critics and ended up as a bit of a commercial failure as well, but everyone I've mentioned that movie to agrees that it was fucking amazing. War of the Worlds, 2005. White Chicks only has 13% on Rotten Tomatoes. Hardcore Henry IDK. What's wrong with it? But critics hate it. The Big Lebowski wasn't generally seen as a great movie by most critics when it first came out. It was heavily criticized for being too unfocused and not being clear in its storytelling. Now, I have a lecturer who holds it as one of the top 5 movies ever released. A lot of cult films are like this, to be fair. Hook. I was actually very surprised when I heard it didn't fare too well with critics. Ace Ventura, Pet Detective was criticized pretty ruthlessly. Warcraft, especially in China. Final Destination. Hot Rod, Event Horizon. Threat Level Midnight. Cool Runnings didn't get the best reviews and everyone I know who has seen that movie has loved it. Boondock Saints was absolutely trashed by critics for being a tried mess. That didn't stop every college bro from buying a poster for their wall. It's an interesting case though. The film was never popular particularly because it, despite emulating many of the popular indie/popular films of the time, did not have marketing appeal on top of being slammed critically. Also there's the whole drama involving the director blacklisting himself with practically every important person in Hollywood at the time. Consequently, it became a low-earning film that flew under the radar theatrically. This was also the time that cult classic really began taking off. People were searching for under-the-radar films to be in on and adopt. It's only fitting that a certain college-aged male audience picked it up and made it a cult classic. To that audience it felt like an excellent piece of indie cinema, something they were in on, while everybody else was watching The Matrix. They enjoyed more finer indie cinema like Boondock Saints, which they display above their bed in a frat house. Basketball. Venom. Rocky Horror Picture Show, 1975. The Empire Strikes Back. The critics didn't take too well to the movie. Now it's generally regarded as the best Star Wars movie. The Mask. Clerks. Alita, Battle Angel. Space Jam. Kung POW, Enter the Fist. The Iron Giant was considered a failure upon release, and that's why we won't be getting a sequel. Dude, Where's My Car? Venom. The discrepancy on Rotten Tomatoes is one of the biggest I've seen. I personally thought it was really fun, and loved that Tom Hardy never got that suave, sleek superhero moment that's always in Marvel and DC movies nowadays. From the beginning of the movie to the end he looks like the human equivalent of a trash can tire fire and I adore it. Titanic. I remember it being hugely criticized by so-called experts, especially for DiCaprio's performance, who was then still considered by many just a pretty face. It was a smashing success and DiCaprio became one of the best actors of all time. The Room. You're tearing me apart. Critics. The entire Fast and Furious franchise. I think reviewers have given up on giving it a real review, because they know that no matter what they write, it's going to make hundreds of millions at the box office. Rush Hour 2. I haven't met a single person who dislikes Rush Hour 2, but critics generally did not like it. The Life Aquatic. The Darjeeling Limited. Pretty much every Wes Anderson movie other than Grand Budapest Hotel. Chronicles of Riddick. Birdemic. Critics hated it, but we all know that movie was a masterpiece. The Boondock Saints. The Room. In a different way,